So we're going through a little town called Cambria. It's kind of the last big community, if you want to call it that, for tourists, with hotels and restaurants and what have you. And then we're going to start coming up close to San Simeon, where Hearst Castle is. And you're going to get a little bit of view of the Pacific Ocean out here. Again, we're on Highway 1. It's just a beautiful drive. And up there in those mountains ahead of us is where Hearst Castle is. So a lot of people ask me, Don, what are the parameters of the Big Sur Coast, Highway 1? So Highway 1, you've probably heard it referred to as the Pacific Coast Highway. That goes all the way up the north end of California to the south end of California, with little breaks in between. And most of it's along this beautiful coastline. But Big Sur itself starts at Carmel, California, to the north, about 90 miles from where I'm at currently, all the way down to Cambria, which was the town we just went through. Those are the boundaries. I have a book that I wrote years ago on photographing the Big Sur Coast. I did an upgrade to it when GPS came out and started to get kind of available for everybody, and I came back and GPS the entire book. Prior to that, we used mile markers. So now I point out all these different locations, give you the mile markers, give you the GPS coordinates, all along, my favorite stops all along the Big Sur Coast. And I've been photographing this area for over 20 years here. I'm very familiar with it. We're coming up to the little town of San Simeon. And if I was to turn right off of Highway 1 in about a mile, I would come to a visitor center, really beautiful visitor center, and I would end up getting on a bus. I'd have to pay for it to go up to the castle. I've been up and through the castle at least 4 or 5 times. Maybe one of these days we'll do a video on that. But today we want to get that moon rising behind it. And when you think of moon photography, you don't think of the middle of the day, do you? It's 11:38 a.m. right now. But at 12:55, there's going to be a moon, that's p.m., there's going to be a moon rising behind, if I plotted it correctly, Hearst Castle. And we're going to shoot it in infrared, which is going to turn these beautiful blue skies black. And I'm just seeing a sign here, road closed 40 miles up. They're working on the last of the slides, and when I say they, I'm referring to Caltrans, California Transportation Department, and we just call it Caltrans out here. And I've read that they could have it open as early as this week, but with all the rains coming in, they've had to postpone the opening, and they want to get through this next week of rainy weather and then see where they stand. And I plan on doing a whole trip up once this road is open, and photographing along the way and showing you guys just how beautiful it is out here. So we're going to swing away from the coast a little bit now, and we'll catch up when I get to the spot where I think we should be shooting. So I got a little dilemma here. I've gotten up to where I thought I should be, and I have calibrated my PhotoPills app on the sun, which is up, and it's telling me I'm too far north. So what do I believe? Do I believe what I saw on the photographer's Ephemeris? Or do I trust that my compass is right and I've gauged this thing right and I head south? Wow, what a dilemma. I still have a good 45 minutes to figure it out. So I'm going to head south and see how it lines up with the PhotoPills app. And then we're just going to have to wait and see. It's going to be a scramble. I hate it when two pieces of software are not really in conjunction on this. But I'm going to take a little ride down Highway 1 and see if I can get in a better position for this moon. So I've moved south down Highway 1, and I've recalibrated, PhotoPills. And the way you calibrate PhotoPills is on the app. There is a visual calibration, and a little red set of instructions come up. It's a really cool app, and it just tells you to line it up on the sun. And fortunately, this is a bright blue sky day, and you swipe left, right, up, down, until you get the sun aligned right where their little sun is. And then you just hit a checkbox, and that's visually calibrated. So once that happened, I turned back around to face this direction. Let me see if I can get the camera spun around. Way up on those mountains sits the castle, and the moon should come just to the right of the castle from this position. So with the moon coming up right up there, that's pretty much confirming what the photographer's Ephemeris said, and I think this is going to be my spot. If we blow it, we blow it. That's just moon photography. Okay, so I am set up, and I'm going to go with this location. The problem is, as I explained a little earlier, along Highway 1, it's very busy today because we're a couple days before New Year's Eve and New Year's. It's going to be the only sunny day we got to get this moonshot done in infrared. And then another batch of 5-6 days of storms are going to come in. And I'm going to flip the camera around here. And you're going to see my setup. And way up on that hill is Hearst Castle. And we're right along Highway 1. So, we're all set up, standing alongside of Highway 1. And I'm showing you the directions that my cameras are looking. The camera to the right of the screen is a Sony A7 III that I've converted into 720 nanometer infrared. For those of you not familiar with what infrared is, if you Google light spectrum, you're going to see that we as humans can see in roughly the 400 nanometer range to the 700 nanometer range. It's a sliver of the light spectrum that's out there. When you go over 700 nanometer, you're getting into, I think it's up to about 850 or 900 nanometers. You're getting into what they call a near infrared range. In other words, it's picking up things that our eyes can't see. I don't want to get too deep into this because I'm not a doctor, but I have done a lot of study and research on it. We have millions of rods that are our black and white transmitters and thousands of cones, which is our color transmitters. So think about the edges of the day. Let's do a sunset, and then it starts to get into dusk. And then I'm going to turn this around so we're not watching a bunch of cars here. And then it starts to get dark. Well, it's not a drop-off point immediately like you walk over a cliff. It's a transition into your cones aren't getting enough information and the rods start activating. And remember, I told you we have millions of rods in our eyes, so we're seeing in black and white. I think the biggest, or not the biggest, but the best illustration of this is when we shoot what we call a moonbow up in Yosemite Valley. That's with the waterfall, Yosemite Fall, and the moon lines up right with it. And the mist that comes up, it works similar to a rainbow, but it's a moonbow. But most of us, because it's dark, are going to see just a gray band of that mist arcing over the water where the waterfall is hitting and exploding on the rocks. However, some of us, and I've been blessed with it, can see a light little bit of color. But these cameras have no cutoff points. These are just sensors. They're just recording photons. So, people driving by and waving now. So I've lost my train of thought. Okay, getting back to why some people can see color and some can't. My wife, for example, we had a beautiful display of the Northern Lights in Lofoten, Norway, and she could just see it in black and white. Everybody else was seeing color. And then I told her to put her iPhone up and start shooting it, and she was just blown away because the iPhone's recording what's really there. So, getting back to what we're doing here today, infrared in the 720 nanometer range, which I have that Sony A7 III converted to. And by the way, the two biggest conversion places out there in the country on the West Coast is LifePixel up in Washington, and then Kalari Vision's the one on the East Coast. I've gone with LifePixel, and they've converted every infrared camera I've ever owned. So This is like 5 o'clock traffic out here, you guys. I've never seen it this crowded. So anyway, my eyes keep looking up because we could be seeing this moon coming within the next 5 minutes. The moon had started rising at 12:28, and it's 12:44 right now. It's telling me, the software, the photographer's ephemeris tells me it's start rising over that mountain where I can see it at about 12:50 to 12:55 range. I've learned over the years photographer ephemeris is plus or minus 2 minutes on either side. So you just kind of get ready. And when the moon first pops up, I'm going to know if I'm in the right place or not. And with all this traffic, I don't know if I can scoot to another place, especially if I'd have to go south. So I'm just going to do it here. If this was just riddled with pull-off spots, I could do it. But you can tell how busy this highway is. So we're going to go from here. Now, if I'm too far south, I can go up to another pull-out, and I could pull the moon with me in that direction. That is south. This is north. And the highway, the big Pacific Coast Highway, runs south to north, north to south. It's not an east to west layout. It's north to south, tracking the coastline all the way up the coast of California. We are in what's considered the southern section of the Big Sur Coast. I've already alluded to that. It's a beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky, perfect conditions for doing this. And now we just gotta sit tight, and hopefully in the next couple minutes I can spot the moon, and we'll see if I've gone ahead and made the correct decision from when the window could open that we could see it. Once again, I believe photographer's ephemeris told us right around 12:55, and it is now 12:49. But photopills, it shows the tip of the moon. You know, when they give that rise time, as I've mentioned, that's when the very tip of the moon becomes visible. And being in the daytime, I'm going to have to look through the infrared camera over my shoulder here, because it could be coming up, but the amount of light out here on a bright sunny day and in the middle of the day, it may wash it out where I can't see it physically. This camera here, once again, is my color camera, just recording video. This is going to be the camera we're going to shoot the stills, and if I remember, we'll shoot a little video with this too. If not, you'll have to settle on the pictures. I'm still a still photographer at heart, so when things happen, I think stills, and I haven't gotten my brain conditioned to think video. You have to remember, as the moon's already been rising, right? But it's moving to our right as it comes up. It's always going to move to the right, the sun and the moon, and on rise and set. Unless you go to the southern hemisphere, then everything's reversed and it goes to the left, moon and sun on rise and set. So if it's getting in behind that pointy mountain, it's going to have to clear that, which would mean I got to go back up to this other location to pull it with me. But we're going to wait and see. No sense running around right now. It could be north of the castle too. I don't know. 1/200/6.3 at 200 ISO. So I would have seen it to camera left here by now, which is telling me it's behind one of those peaks. So I'm going to pack up, and we're going to go back up north to the last place, farthest I can get to, that when it clears those peaks, I might be able to balance the scene out. There's no sense staying here. Well, disappointed is what I am. It came up too far to the right. We can see it now. I've shot it. I'm going to try to do a stitch shot, but I think it's so far right. This would have been the place to start. When we got down there, it shifted the perspective of those mountains to the north, and it was blocking me. If I would have stayed up here with my first instinct, I would have got it. Photopills threw me. I don't know what to say. I aligned it to the sun. I went with photopills. I should have stuck with photo ephemeris, because that told me to be here. So I'm going to do a few more, see if I can just do a nice pano of it, and we'll call it a day. I should have stuck with photographer's ephemeris. which I've been doing for the past 10 years now. It's never failed me. Photo pills is, I don't mean to trash photo pills, but there's got to be a reason why it was so far off, especially when I calibrated it 3 separate times to the sun, and it was dead on the mark. And it showed me it was going to come up behind that castle. I've run out of roadway. I've run up to where, as far as I can go before I lose the view of the castle, to try to salvage it. So I'm going to put this video out regardless. If I do have it, it's going to be in a panel format, but I just don't think it's what I really wanted. Fortunately, I got the full moon over the castle last month, strictly with photo ephemeris, but we went over that I could see the illumination and knew where it was coming. Little trick here is the first time I've tried one during the day, and with the topography up there, that makes it real tricky too. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but maybe what you're seeing here is we might salvage a shot. It just is, I'm looking at it again up there, and it is way, way offline. If I would have stayed here, I would have gotten it in a little gap that is up in those mountains just to the right of the pointy mountain as I'm looking at the castle. But I made a decision, and now I got to live with it. It ruined the shot for me, and it's not coming back. It's no like, well, if it's not cloudy tomorrow, I can come back, because I can't. Because the moon's moving on a southerly direction now all the way till June 21st, which is summer solstice. So it'll have to be next year that I come back up and try this shot again. But anyway, I think you guys kind of got the grasp of how I plan. From now on, I'm leaving photo pills alone. I get burned once with an app, and I won't go back to it. Just won't go back to it. That happened one other time with me out in Grand Canyon. I went away from it for quite a while. Then I started using it again. I know the owner, and it's no knock on him, so I'm going to take blame that it might be just user error. And so anyway, I'm going to pack up, call it a day, go get some lunch. Nothing else got me out of the house. It's a beautiful day by the coast, and now we turn it over to Mother Nature and let the rain come back through again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hey, thank you for sticking to the end if you have. Remember, get out and stay creative. It's great for your soul. We'll see you all next week.